Whether you visit our many historic sites, explore our thousands of acres of parks, launch a business, or study at one of our acclaimed universities, you'll agree Mercer County has it all. Mercer County, picture yourself here. Mercer County Executive Brian Hughes and the Board of Commissions are proud to sponsor Mercer Local Influencers.
Presenting Mercer Local Influencers, featuring leaders in our community whose positive influence is bringing energy, growth, and vitality to Mercer County. Presented by YourTownTube.com, Fifth Feb and WellTube, and Stimulus Brand.
Good day, Mercer County. I'm John Gertico, your host for Mercer Influencers. On the set with us today is Jeff Vega, President and CEO of the Princeton Area Community Foundation. I've met Jeff a number of years ago and happy to have you here today to talk to our audience about not only what Princeton Area Community Foundation does and your role there, but how you got there. We were talking before about vocation and avocation. How is it that we find ourselves where we are? Is it a path that we chose or something that chose us? And I wanted to start with your reminiscence of what it was like growing up in Irvington, New Jersey.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. Yes, I grew up in Irvington, New Jersey. In a household that was filled with love, but we definitely did not have the resources. We were poor, and going to Irvington school system and high school, I was grateful that I did well academically, and my guidance counselor pulled me down one day and said, "What are you doing? Where are you going?" And I said, "Well, my mom wants me to go to college, but we don't have the finances. We don't know how to get there." And she said, "Well, what are you good at?" And I said, "I'm good in biology. I got a really great grade. I got an A." And she said, "Well, how about Cook College?" And I said, "I don't want to be a cook." She started, no. She goes, no, Cook College, right. Rutgers University. And at the time, Cook College was going through a transition of taking some of its sciences out of Cook and being much more of a mission school, agriculture, environmental sciences. And if you attended there, you needed to have a major there. I ended up getting accepted. I was an EOF student. I loved the college environment. It was very different from where I grew up. And I got there and I decided I was going to be a pre-med biology major. Mm-hmm. After my first semester of having chem lab and bio lab on a Wednesday back to back, I said, this is not for me. I didn't do bad in the sciences, but it was not going to be the area I was going to go into. I knew that. But I loved the environment there, and I stayed. I did two majors. I did human ecology, international environmental studies. By my junior year, I said, what am I going to do with this? It's not my calling. And then I had an epiphany of sorts. What happened was that what I wanted to do was to make a difference for people and communities similar to the one that I came from, like from Irvington.
Right. And
I took on a third major of urban studies, and then found a lot of wonderful people in my path that decided to mentor me on my journey. From there, I completed the major. I went on to Eagleton Institute, and from there, I really got a view of how poverty and public policy connect, and to be able to look at how do I make a difference in communities and public policy and thinking strategically about how do you develop programs. And I was very grateful that after I finished graduate school, I landed at the Center for Nonprofits for about 2 years. And then an opportunity came up at New Brunswick Tomorrow, and spent 22 years of my life there making a difference locally, putting together private-public partnerships with a lot of funding from Johnson & Johnson and other corporations to make a difference locally. Happily doing that, making a difference in schools, with local healthcare partners, with local civic organizations. And then the recruiter came knocking on the door and said there's a position open at the Princeton Area Community Foundation, and several people said we should talk to you. And I said, sure, let's talk. And I was not looking for another job, but I really got excited by the vision that the board of trustees at the Princeton Area Community had. And I succeeded Nancy Keeling, who was
Right.
there for 20 years, the founding executive director, and she then gave a year's worth of notice that it was time for her to retire.
And Nancy was somebody who I knew through a mentor of mine, and I would dare to say that Nancy became a mentor and still is of yours. There are probably times when you call her up. So those
A mentor of many.
right. Those influences are not only the neighborhoods that we all came from and the family unit, but then because your father was a musician, your mother did she have a professional background? Or did they both just arrive here in the U.S. and say, this is where we're starting a family?
My father was a musician, left Cuba, a part of a band, and traveled all over the world on tour when he was in tour in Peru. My mom was a fan, cut school to go to the local radio station, and eyes met, romance ensued, and so they came to the U.S. Unfortunately, what started as a wonderful love story didn't end that way, and so my mom was raising me and my siblings alone. And so we, again, like I said, it was a household full of love, but we struggled a lot with poverty issues. And so what I do today, in terms of using the power of philanthropy to make a difference, all of the nonprofits that we support resonate with me for a lot of the experiences that I've been through.
And imagine the guidance counselor saw that in you. You weren't just another kid in her office. You were somebody that was there that she saw a spark in that said, hey, if we maybe move you in this direction, and there'll be good things that come from it. So I think, again, that influence is interesting. Again, my mentor, Chris Lockhammer, who knew Nancy Keeling real well, I think said the same thing about a number of people that she surrounded herself with and mentored along in their careers. So there you had it early on in yours. And you probably picked up that as well at Rutgers. There were people that you studied under, if you will, they're professors that encouraged you along those. Are there any that stick out, or any that...
Two mentors that are unfortunately no longer with us, but one was Professor Eddie Ortiz, who taught several urban courses in the Urban Studies Department. And I even did an independent study with him. And another person was Alfredo Santiago, who was an assistant dean in the administration and helped me, connecting me to scholarships, connecting me to other opportunities for me to be able to stay and complete my undergraduate degree. So I was very fortunate to have a lot of influencers and angels in my path to get me where I needed to go.
And their work clearly was not just about New Jersey and New Brunswick, but this is what it looks like across the country and probably across the world.
Absolutely. They, educators, those who really had an interest in people. I think the magical part is that when they influenced you, they made you feel like you were the most important person in their world, right? But come to find out, there were many other students that Alfredo mentored and that Professor Ortiz had an impact on. And even moving forward from there, I had somebody at the Department of Community Affairs who mentored me and guided me to Eagleton, Amy Fenwick Frank, who was Director of Planning at the time under the Doc Villain administration. So I had a lot of support getting to where I am, and then spending 22 years in New Brunswick, working in an organization that was established by Johnson & Johnson in the mid-'70s to help rebuild the city of New Brunswick. Being there and just my part was not the physical revitalization where people see quite evidently. My part was really working with people who live in neighborhoods, churches, the the mayor, and others to form partnerships to really deal with some of the social issues in the city that stop people from moving forward. My job was to find the funding to help put those programs in places that help people move forward.
And create a level of trust that this wasn't just something that was going to happen in 2 weeks and then everyone would be gone, that those collaborations would continue beyond just that measurable event and time.
Absolutely. What's important in what we do is looking for sustainability, that what we do is not a one-off effort, that we look for solutions locally with partnerships and to try to provide the funding so that it is tried, it is evaluated, but it somehow it is sustained in the community through the Board of Ed, through a local hospital, or sustained through consistent funding through nonprofits. And what happens over time is that it helps families and children move forward, and kids who were one time, like myself, poor and living in Irvington. Now I'm CEO of a foundation in New Jersey. So hopefully that will, the work that I do in collaboration with many others, will have that kind of impact in the lives of many.
Great. So again, those collaborations continue. They continue under the umbrella of Princeton Area Community Foundation, which we'll talk about after our break. But it's wonderful to hear your story from the family that you had, the opportunity that you found through the assistance of others, but through your own study and hard effort, and understanding what you were good at and what you didn't want to do. And I'm so glad you've picked your path. Because now I've had a chance to work with you and see the work that the organization has done. Because you and I have served on the Chamber of Commerce Board together. Yep. So you've seen the impact of your organization within a corporate and business environment as well.
Absolutely. I have the privilege of sitting on the Chamber Board, participating a lot on their nonprofit committee, and really helping to explore the nexus of nonprofit organizations with business and the philanthropy, the way it works there.
And again, hopefully bring that collaboration to play within the business community so that businesses understand their role and the employees of those businesses understand what their organization really is focused on. Absolutely.
We have several businesses that come to us and try to understand how to make an impact in the community, how to use their power of philanthropy and grants contributions, coming to us about how to do that. And several of them have funds at the Community Foundation and partner with us.
Great. Well, Jeff, if you'll pardon me, pardon us, we're going to take a break for a message from our friend Tom McManaman at Stimulus Brand, and we'll be back after a short break.
Hi everyone, I'm Tom McManaman from Stimulus Brand. Next time you're networking, remember this: you have a brief moment, sometimes seconds, to tell your story. It's in how you tell your stories that make them memorable or not. Storytelling is your opportunity to project your passions, your opportunity to take people to a new place that is as visceral and visual, emotional and unexpected as you choose to make it. When you connect others to your passion through things like the highs and lows of your voice, your vocabulary, posture, humor, or a smile, and even your dress, you become more memorable and effective. Still, knowing your audience is everything. This helps make your story relevant. So we learn conversation icebreakers, make introductions, and say each other's name. And we rub elbows time and time again to learn the latest and greatest. When meeting with others, first listen. And when you speak, don't speak so much of what you do as much as how you benefit others. Get to know them, what their needs are, what moves them, and you'll be able to respond in terms that are meaningful to them. Speak more of what you can do for them, or cite case stories where you've helped others. Do this well, and your stories could lead to bestsellers. Learn more at stimulusbrand.com.
Want to expand your mind? How about wandering a 42-acre sculpture park and museum to discover your new favorite artist? Or roaming our gardens to discover your new favorite flower? We have a variety of activities sure to give you the cultural experience you've been yearning for. Come visit us again soon. We've missed you.
Mercer Local Influencers. It's powerful.
Mercer Local Influencers. Sharing is caring.
Mercer Local Influencers. It's powerful.
Mercer Local Influencers. Sharing is caring.
Mercer Influencers. Sharing is caring.
Mercer Local Influencers. Powerful.
Mercer Local Influencers. Sharing is caring.
Princeton Local Mercer Influencers. Sharing is caring.
And we're back with Jeff Vega, the president and CEO of Princeton Area Community Foundation. Jeff, thanks for again joining us today. We talked earlier about your lead up to the role at Princeton Area Community Foundation and the people that we know and influenced us. But tell us a little bit about what it's been like. The foundation was named one of the 10 best in the country.
Absolutely, by Charity Navigator. It's been a wonderful journey so far. I've been there for close to 8 years. As I started saying before, the board did some soul searching after Nancy left and decided that what they wanted to do was to deepen its impact, keep doing the wonderful things we were doing, but deepen the impact in the communities we were serving. And given my background in community building and development, that became really important as we move forward to think about strategically how we serve. And one of the very first things we did, we put together an initiative called All Kids Thrive. And that based on the data that we saw at the time, that showed that Mercer County ranked 19th out of 21 counties for academic achievement, educational outcomes, I should say. And the data was put out by the Kids Count Advocates of Children of New Jersey that measures well-being across the state. And when we looked at that, we were really shocked by that. And when we took a look at the data, it says that why we rank so low is because of the variable of chronic absenteeism, which means that children for poverty and other related reasons have a barrier to getting to school. So we went to work. We got together with other funding sources, created a pool of $3 million over 5 years, and funded 10 nonprofit school partnerships in 4 communities, 6 of them in Trenton, 2 in Hamilton, 1 in Princeton, and 1 in Lawrence. And we went to work to try to learn what are some effective practices to deal with this issue. Now, as you can imagine, in the middle of the initiative, COVID strikes. So the design had to shift about how do you get kids to school to how do you help kids learn from home and remotely. So dealing with things like families that don't have access to the web, internet, or technology, or even some children who rely on school for their only meal of the day. So trying to fund those organizations during COVID to help deal with that. So this September is our 5th year of All Kids Thrive. We're taking stock through an independent evaluator of the impact that we've had and how do we move forward from an advocacy and public policy perspective of dealing with issues of chronic absenteeism.
And also that nutritional side too that you mentioned, because I don't know if there's 1 or 2 core meals that many children get when they go to school. I would say probably 2. For many, it's a breakfast and a lunch. So.
Absolutely. During COVID, we certainly funded a lot of wonderful organizations that were out in the front line doing food delivery. One of my favorite ones was Mercer Street Friends, where the school was making school lunches available, but there's other members of the family, so they were right there besides the schools giving bags of food so that families can have a meal to eat, and we funded them.
Right, and since the children were out during COVID, they had the opportunity to get the food to through organizations and collaborations like Mercer Street Friends to community-based organizations, and people again had that trust that they could say, I can depend that this meal may be here, or food for my family may be at this organization on a regular basis during this time.
That's right. That's right.
And again, that was a lesson I think you taught me and taught a number of us, that, hey, the gifts are great, but are we consistent in our giving, and is there a plan behind it? So we talked earlier about collaboration, but now you've introduced the knowledge that you have of the market and what the the core issues are for many families and many children. So you've said collaboratively, how do we bring people to the table to say, in these circumstances, how do we make this happen?
Yeah, the Community Foundation really sits in a position where we have knowledge of the community, we have knowledge of the wonderful work that different nonprofits are coming to us, and that's the reason why a lot of donors come to us, because donors also want to have an impact with the dollars, with their charitable giving. So they come to us, they tap our brains about who's in the community making an impact, and we connect them to causes that matter. And that's part of what we do as a community foundation.
So the Community Foundation acts then as also a provider of donor-advised fund knowledge, and you'll manage the asset, and that organization can then direct to the organizations that they field. But again, with perhaps some education through the services that you offer. This is where your dollars are best allocated.
Absolutely. We can host the donor advised fund, but more importantly, we can provide support to the donor and letting them know the landscape, letting them know who are the nonprofits making the impact, and letting them know the kind of grant making that we are also making. And so they get to access all that wonderful knowledge that we build.
And you've also served other organizations and other communities throughout the country as a place to come to learn how this can be done right and done well.
Absolutely. While for our competitive grant dollars stay locally, the donor advised fund, the grants from there can travel anywhere to any 501c3 in the country. And last year, our grants traveled to almost every state in the union for I think except 4. So our donors in our area care about many different causes all over the country.
So that connection and that collaboration extends beyond just this market, and it's wonderful to hear. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us today amid the interruptions of the day. And
my pleasure.
Wonderful to hear more about not just what the organization does, but how you got there and the passion that you bring to the work. It's wonderful to hear. So thank you again for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. We'll see you again next week for another episode of Mercer Influencers. Thank you very much.
Hey everybody, we here at the JRH Foundation of the Arts are very excited to be working with the Princeton Area Community Foundation to help put together a beautiful celebration for their 30th year. Happy anniversary, let's do it, ready? Happy anniversary!
Hello, I'm Jeffery Vega, and I'm the president and CEO of the Princeton Area Community Foundation. Thank you so much for your support and for this journey, and the work is not over.
Happy 30th anniversary of Princeton Area Community Foundation. Your celebration is our celebration because of everything that you bring to us and to all the nonprofits around.
Happy anniversary, PACF, from your friends at RISE.
We here at Arm & Arm want to wish our friends at Princeton Area Community Foundation happy 30th anniversary. You've made a life of difference in our work and in the lives of the people that we serve.
Congratulations, Princeton Area Community Foundation, for supporting all the needs in our community for the past 30 years.
Happy 30th anniversary, Princeton Area Community Foundation, from all of us at Trenton Health Team.
From all of us at Trenton Children's Chorus, thank you so much, Princeton Area Community Foundation, and cheers to another 30 years.
Hey, Princeton Area Community Foundation, happy anniversary.
On behalf of the Board of Young Audiences, the staff, the teaching artists, the teachers we work with, the students we reach, and the families that we connect with, we want to wish Princeton Area Community Foundation a happy 30th, and here's to another 30.
Happy anniversary, Princeton Area Community Foundation.
for all your support.
The Rescue Mission of Trenton wishes Princeton Area Community Foundation a happy 30th anniversary. Congratulations on your 30 years of working in this community. Congratulations to all who have made Princeton Area Community Foundation so integral to our community. Happy anniversary, Princeton Area Community Foundation.
Bo and I would like to wish you a happy 30th anniversary.
From all of us at DNR Greenway to all of you at the Princeton Area Community Foundation, thank you and happy 30th anniversary.
On behalf of the YWCA Princeton, I would like to wish a very happy and prosperous 30-year anniversary to PACF. Thank you so very much for all that you do, for all of the families that we all collectively serve. Thank you.
Happy anniversary to the board and staff of the Princeton Area Community Foundation. And happy anniversary to a community that is so fortunate to have as a resource this wonderful foundation. I'm looking forward to the next 30 years. I'll start with the next 5 or 10. And I hope that the Community Foundation continues to do the incredible work that it has become known for in our community. And I ask all of you looking at this video to contribute in any way you can to making the Community Foundation an even greater, more impactful resource.